Thank you, everyone, for subscribing to Infinitely Productions. If you have not done so, please click the bell and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy our content.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
Now, Salerno is there for all of this and realizes he doesn't want to be a wise guy.
Salerno believed that he was going to be killed because he was a witness to this, and he knew that even though he was a close friend, he was not part of the inner circle. And he couldn't wait to get out of there. And subsequent to those events, then he became a witness for the government.
My MO was usually to try somebody else for the crime. And here it was put on a silver plate for me because Salerno admitted that he was there when it happened. And he saw it with his own eyes, and that he helped drag the body out of the house, put it in the trunk of a car, and drop the car off on a street corner. The strategy of my defense in the case for all three of them was that Salerno was the guy who actually did the murder.
In the murder, according to Bobby Simone, Joe Salerno owes Vincent Falcone money and decides that killing him was a lot easier than paying him back. He lures Falcone to the Margate house and kills him there.
Before the trial, I learned that Salerno was an arm wrestling champion in Brigantine, New Jersey, which gave him some strength, physical strength, because there was an issue as to whether or not it took one or at least two people to pick the body up, take it out of the house, and put it in the trunk of the car. So I said, then you're a pretty strong fellow. Now, as a strong fellow, you would have no difficulty dragging that body and rolling it down the steps, would you?
No.
And as the arm wrestling champion of Brigantine, sir, if you really put your body and your mind to it, you could have put the body in the trunk, couldn't you?
Bobby had a way of kind of tilting his head and kind of looking askance if a witness said something that was unbelievable. He wouldn't have to challenge the guy. He would just give kind of a nod or a look, and it would convey everything he needed to say to the jury. What Bobby tried to present a position to the jury that Salerno Jr. had more of a reason to kill Vincent Falcone than my client or the other clients that are on trial here. And this is Salerno Jr.'s way of getting out from underneath. He's giving the government what they want. He's giving them these alleged mobsters.
The trial lasts 2 weeks. The jury returns the verdict on October 2nd, 1980.
We find Nicodemo Scarfo not guilty. Philip Leonetti not guilty. Lawrence Merlino not guilty.
Scarfo, Leonetti, and Merlino walk out of court that day. They're acquitted.
Mr. Simone, do you have any comment about the verdict?
I certainly am not going to argue with it.
After the verdict came back, it was like an uproar in the courtroom, and the courthouse was a madhouse, and the TV cameras were running, and came up to Nicky, and they said, do you have any comment?
Thank God for the Merck and jury system. That's all I gotta say.
And those quotes go down in history in Atlantic City.
Meanwhile, back in Philadelphia, Mafia bullets are about to make history. While Scarfo is standing trial, a major corporate shakeup is underway in Angelo Bruno's Philly mob.
Some of these guys wanted to get involved in drugs. Some of these guys felt Bruno was not taking advantage of the casino gambling boom in Atlantic City, that the New York families were coming down and getting too big a piece of that pie. And for all those different reasons, they decided Bruno had to go and they were going to take over the family.
And in this corporation, they don't hand out pink slips. The Philadelphia bloodbath is about to begin, and it's going to put Bobby Simone front and center on the Mafia scene. In 1980, defense attorney Robert Simone has been embraced by the Philly mob and its boss, Angelo Bruno. But Bruno's mob is heading for a revolution. All that's needed is the starting gun. On March 21st, 1980, the Angelo Bruno era comes to an end.
It's a rainy night, and as a fella comes out of the shadows, walks up behind the car, pulls a shotgun out from underneath his raincoat, and fires 2 shots into the back of Bruno's head. Bruno's killed instantly. Conventional wisdom is that Bruno was killed by his consigliere, Antonio Tony Bananas Caponegro.
Within a month, payback.
They found him in a car with 13 bullet holes in him, body badly beaten, and $20 bills stuck up his ass. the show breed.
In September 1980, it's Bobby Simone's loan shark client and gambling buddy, Frank Sindone, who turns up dead in an alley wrapped in plastic. Next on the death list, a union boss whom Simone has successfully defended.
Another one of my dear friends who met an untimely death. In fact, when you start thinking about it, I now understand why I don't have so many friends anymore.
Amidst all the .38 caliber reshuffling, Simone's client Nicky Scarfo moves into the number 2 spot under the new boss Phil Testa, but not for long.
March 15th, 1981, almost a year to the day of Bruno's death. Testa's walking up the front porch of his house. Testa reaches the top step. Testa is literally blown through his front door.
Scarfo is now the boss of the Philly mob, and firmly in his corner is attorney Bobby Simone.
Starting with the pronouncement of Nicodemo Scarfo as the head of the Philadelphia crime family, the LCN, his attorney, Robert Simone, rose to prominence, at least as far as the radar of the Philadelphia police community. It appeared that Robert Simone was not only an attorney representing, but also a personal friend.
Maybe I overstepped the balance a little bit by spending more time with them, but that's why I was successful. I got to know them, I got to know the good things about them that aren't in the newspapers, and I was able to pick that up and convey those facts to the jury.
Scarfo began consolidating power, and how he would do that would be, first he had the people involved with killing Phil Testa. They were killed.
If you did something wrong, I mean, he just turned that quick on you, and you'd be dead.
And at a certain point, a decision was made among law enforcement agencies, something's got to be done.
Then it became a concerted effort on behalf of the Philadelphia Police Department and the FBI to solve these crimes. And that was the origin of the Philadelphia Homicide Task Force.
And one of the first things this task force does is to slap the cuffs back on Scarfo. Police have discovered a handgun during a search of Scarfo's home.
Scarfo, having been convicted for the murder of Joseph Dugan back in 1963, was prohibited by law to possess firearms.
Mr. Scarfo is presently involved.
Despite Simone's efforts in the courtroom, Scarfo was convicted in January 1981 of unlawful felony possession of a handgun. The judge gives him 3 years.
So Scarfo goes to Texas, and he's still running the family by meeting with people who were visiting him and sending messages back to his nephew, Phil Leonetti, who's the underboss.
According to Phil, Bob was passing messages from the family to Nick when he would go visit him in prison.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.